All praise to the Most High, Ahaya, and to His Son, Yahshua, the Messiah. Hallelujah. This is Brother Holly here with the second Spirit of Truth broadcast here on the AHAYAH'S channel and the House of Ahaya channel on this set-apart Sabbath day. Now, in this second broadcast, we're going to continue the series, What Did the Messiah Say? With yet another saying from the Messiah that runs crossway to what people believe and teach today. What I'm talking about is the existence of any remnants of the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem. We have those. I like to refer to them as fakers, frauds, and imposters who are currently living in the promised land, currently inhabiting the holy city, currently pretending and have persuaded the entire world to accept them as the Most High's chosen, when in fact they are not. As it says in the book of Revelation, they say they are Jews and are not, but do lie, and they are of the synagogue or the assembly of Hasatan. You should know by now who I'm referring to. Now, these imposters have a relic that they venerate. What I'm talking about is the Wailing Wall, or the so-called Wailing Wall. Now, this relic that they venerate, they go to it, they put prayers in it, they pray toward it, they touch it, they bow before it, they do all these things. It is nothing but an idol, the works of men's hands, idols of stone. It is how it is. I'm not calling it idol because they call it an idol. I'm calling it idol because the Most High does not dwell in anything made with the hands of a man. He dwells in people, not in brick walls. But they pray to it. They pray toward it, touch it, bow to it. And we're not to bow down and pray toward anything made with hands. So says the commandments. But these imposters seem to have yet another understanding other than what's found in the scriptures. And they have bewitched the entire world. There's not a president of the United States that doesn't have to make his pilgrimage to the Wailing Wall and put a prayer in it. So this bewitchment of the entire world has infected not only their minds, but the minds of others around the world. Sadly, to include the leadership within our own country. And I say sad because it's nothing but idolatry. And one of the commandments is for us to not worship anything, not anything made with hands, anything that resembles something in the heavens, or resembles something on the earth, or resembles something under the earth. And the great apostle Paul, in whom we all trust, said an idol can be anything. And the great apostle Paul said, when you're sacrificing to idols, you are sacrificing to devils. And the way I know that the Wailing Wall is indeed an idol and not a piece of the authentic temple of that Solomon built is because of the words of the Messiah. What did the Messiah say about the temple? When he was asked about it by his Talmudim, his disciples, what did he say? Let's read it. And we're going to go to the book of Matthew, Matthew 24, and we're also going to go to 2nd Baruch, because in 2nd Baruch, in the Apocrypha, it talks about what the Most High did with all of the equipment, for lack of a better word, that was within the temple. What happened to it when the temple was destroyed? First, the Messiah is going to tell us that the temple is going to be destroyed, when not one stone will be left upon another. And then from the book of Baruch, we'll see what happened to all the furnishings and the internals, the Ark of the Covenant, the 2 tablets of stone that were given by the hand of the Most High through Moses. Hallelujah. Let's read Matthew 24. Let's start reading at verse 1. And I'm reading from the Hebraic Roots version of the scriptures for this teaching. And Yeshua went out, and as he was departing from the temple, his Talmudim came near in order to show him the building of the temple. Now, there was only one place called the temple in the Messiah's day. That was the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem. And that was the temple that he had said in a previous teaching that he taught there. He taught in the synagogues and in the temple. So the was not the synagogues. The synagogues were not considered the temple, and nor was the temple considered a synagogue. A synagogue is nothing but a meeting place, an assembly place. But the temple was where sacrifices were done. It's where the holy garments were, and where the priests were, and where the table of showbread and the Ark of the Covenant, where these things were, where the inner court and the outer court were. And it had a wall around it. But let's see what the Messiah says about the temple. I'll read verse 1 of Matthew 24, verse 1. And Yeshua went out as he was departing from the temple. He was at the temple in Jerusalem. His Talmudim, or his disciples, came near in order to show him the building of the temple. And he answered them, saying, verse 2, regard you all these things? Are you really paying attention to these things? He says, truly I tell you, there will not be left here a stone upon a stone that will not be overthrown. Now, here the Messiah is saying, hey guys, you care about this place? Let me tell you something. There won't be one stone left upon another of this place that you are so revering. Wow. See, they're like those imposters in the land right now. They're grown enamored with the building instead of the one who the building was erected to worship. We can read in 1 Kings chapter 8, the prayer dedication for the temple that Solomon prayed. And when we read that prayer, everything was directed to AHAYAH. It was very little about the building. The building didn't have that much significance, other than it was a building that was built to his glory and for his worship. But as time progressed, they began to be enamored with the building. And the Messiah told them, hey, listen, truly I'm saying to you, there's going to come a time when there won't be one stone left on another. Now, the fakers in the nation, in the Jewish state, those fakers, not only is a stone left, a whole wall's left up. And they're bound to it. You've seen them, putting prayers on the wall, to the wall. Now, either they're lying or Messiah's lying. Which is it? Now, you might say to yourself, well, Brother Holly, he didn't say when this would happen. He just said it would happen. But we can go to 2nd Baruch and see when it would happen. And we know from history that it happened in 70 AD when the Romans destroyed the temple, which was recorded by the Judean Josephus in his chronicles. And his chronicles have been proven archaeologically to be indeed accurate, both in time and been proven by other writers of the time that were not Judean, that had nothing to do with faith. Romans wrote about the same events during the same time in the same place. So you have collaboration with the writings of Josephus from other contemporaries of his time. and other nations, other peoples. So we know when it happened from the historical account. But some would like to, extrapolate and say, well, maybe they had it wrong. And maybe the wall that's left up is in fact the wall, and what Messiah is talking about here hasn't happened yet. Well, that's a pretty far stretch with all the evidence to the contrary. But we also have from the Apocrypha a description of what's going to happen to the internals when the temple is destroyed. Let's see it. I'm reading from the Sefer. I'm in 2nd Baruch, chapter 6. And let's start reading at verse 1. It's a pretty long read, but it's a good read. Hallelujah. And it came to pass on the morrow that, lo, the army of the Cashtim surrounded the city. And at the time of the evening, I, Baruch, left the people and went forth and stood by the oak. And I was grieving over Zion and lamenting over the captivity that had come upon the people. And lo, suddenly a strong spirit raised me and bore me aloft over the walls of Jerusalem. And I beheld, lo, 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the city, each of them holding a torch of fire in his hands. And another angel began to descend from heaven, and said unto them, this is 2nd Baruch 6, verse 6, hold your lamps, and do not light them until I tell you, for I am first sent to speak a word to the earth, and to place in it what AHAYAH of armies has commanded me. And I saw him descend into the holies of holies, and take from thence the veil, and the holy ark, and the mercy seat, and the 2 tablets, and the holy raiment of the priests, and the altar of incense, and the 48 precious stones wherewith the priests had adorned, and all the holy vessels of the tabernacle. And he spoke to the earth with a loud voice. Verse 8. Earth, 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 hear the word of Elohim, and receive what I commit to you, and guard them until the last times, so that when you are ordered, you may restore them. So that, and this is why, this is 2nd Baruch 6:8, so that strangers may not get possession of them. Now here we have an account where Baruch is seeing something before it happened. He's seeing these angels standing there with 4 torches, and they were set to destroy the temple. The angels were. And another angel came and said, before you tear it up, so strangers won't get a hold of the holy vessels, the Most High has sent me to order the earth to swallow them up until a time in which they will be revealed. You can keep on searching for the Ark of the Covenant. You're not going to find it until the Most High says it's time for it to be revealed again. It is in the earth. It says so right here in 2nd Baruch. So for all you non-Apocrypha believers, here's some proof text from the Apocrypha books to support what the Messiah was saying. Verse 9, 2nd Baruch 6:9. For the time comes when Jerusalem will be delivered for a time, until it is said that it again is restored forever, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up. So Jerusalem is going to be held in captivity for a time until it's restored forever. Jerusalem right now is in the hand of Gentiles, of non-Judeans, of non-children of Jacob. We're still scattered in the earth. And we got interlopers, pretenders, counterfeits in the land, pretending to be us. You know what I'm talking about. You know who and where I'm talking about. And the Revelation states that they say they are Judeans and are not, but do lie. And it tells you whose house they're of. He said they're of the assembly of Hasatan, or the devil. They've been there since 1948. Why haven't they dug up the Ark of the Covenant? Why haven't they showed the holies of holies? Why haven't they showed the mercy seat? Because they can't find it. They can dig the whole country up, won't be able to find it until the time of the restoration of all things. Hallelujah. So, is the Wailing Wall an actual part of the Temple of Solomon that Solomon built? Or is it yet another idol that was erected by men to draw men away from the Most High and the worship of Him according to His word into the worship of things, other things, making sacrifices, prayers to devils? Because the scriptures say clearly that when you worship an idol, you are worshiping devils. So I don't know who they're praying to. They're praying to devils. They're praying to Hasatan. They're not praying to the Almighty. But He said that you don't bow before anything made with hands. He said, I don't dwell in things made with hands. And his son, the Messiah, said that not one stone of that temple will be left upon another. How a whole wall still up. So this is a short teaching, but it's a very important one. Because the whole world is gone after these false people. Like I said earlier, every president that's come down the line, at least as far back as I can recall, is Carter. Every president since Carter has gone to the well. Obama went. Trump went. Biden is gone. They all have to go to that idol in Jerusalem and put their prayers in there and put that small cap on their head and worship that image. Shaking my head. I say, turn your eyes unto the hills from which cometh your strength. I say, lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Cry out to the one who made heaven and earth, who sits in heaven itself upon His throne. Cry out to AHAYAH, the great I am, He who is, was, and is to come, the Almighty. Cry out to Him in the name of His holy Son, Yeshua, the Messiah. And stop following the foolishness of evil men. All praise to the Most High, AHAYAH, and to His Son, Yeshua, the Messiah. Hallelujah.